So I came across this article on CNBC.com, and it was talking about how 70% of Americans are feeling financially stressed, and it could range from a whole different reasons like inflation, high interest rates, and lack of savings. For instance, like when it comes to the inflation, obviously things cost more. Your eggs cost more. Your food, all your food costs more. Gas prices, depending on where you live, cost more. Your rents cost more. So inflation has a lot of people obviously struggling when it comes to meeting their financial goals. Another thing is obviously interest rates. If you're someone with debt, or if you're someone that's looking to purchase a home, you can see how interest rates have made things a little bit more expensive, right? Even the debts that you have, whether you have a credit card, or you have an auto, obviously the auto loan, or any type of debts that you acquire, it's more expensive to then service that loan. And when it comes to lack of savings, another thing that people stress about is obviously lack of savings. Like this, if there's an emergency that pops up, people don't have enough money to actually make sure they can cover that emergency. So what they'll do, they'll use their credit card. So these are a lot of reasons for why a lot of people are stressed out. And when I read that article, it brought me back to when I was struggling financially, when I was in like $30,000 of debt, and the amount of stress that it caused me, and not being able to making sure that like every month why I don't have any money, or why I was struggling to make I was living paycheck to paycheck, and it was just hard because it was just like all this money that I do make is going to this debt, and it's just like you don't know where to go. So you have all these different feelings or different ideas like what's going on, like what you want to do financially, like how you're going to make ends meet, and it can be a struggle for a lot of people. So when I thought about that, and I read that article, and it's just like, all right, what are the things that I did to like help me like get through it, or just try to manage me, because eventually I did get through it. I was able to pay down the debt, and now I don't have any struggle with debt. So in this video, we're gonna just talk about some of the things that you can do if you're someone that's feeling stressed financially, and like what you can do like to hopefully alleviate that stress, or just avoid that stress, or get over that stress overall. So for me, the first thing you want to do is just like obviously recognize and understand the stress that you're going through. Like you want to acknowledge it, because I think for a lot of people, like when they're going through something, and let's say there's something that's stressing them out or is bothering them, the one thing we tend to do a lot of times is like we just ignore it. Like whether you're dealing with someone, with your spouse, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or any situation where you just want that you just don't want to talk about, you just ignore it and act like it's not there. And for a lot of people, this could be a bad thing, because when you ignore something, all it does is just builds it up even more, and then eventually it gets to a point where it blows up and becomes a problem that you can't avoid. So instead of like trying to avoid the stress that whatever that's stressing you, like it's important to like recognize and understand it, like whatever, and recognize the symptoms. Like maybe the stress is like causing you anxiety, or maybe you're sleeping less, you're having trouble sleeping, or maybe you're eating less, or maybe you're eating too much, or maybe just a relationship, or a strain on any relationship that you have. So it's important to like understand, recognize it, and at least acknowledge it, and know that it's there, and like, and then try to find a way to like make sure like, all right, you know what, this is an issue, and this is something I have to like figure out, because obviously it gets to a point where this can affect your health long term, right? And we don't want that. Stress is one of the biggest things that people don't really see, but can cause a lot of issues when it comes to your health. So I'm the type of person that's like when there's any type of stress in my life, I like to find a way to alleviate that stress or get that stress out. And so I'm not the type of person to let that thing build up, because I'm someone that really like is really in tune with my health. So I make sure if something's stressing me out, I either eliminate it or try to figure out how to reduce that stress. So it's important to make sure that you acknowledge it and recognize that the stress is there. The next thing you want to do is obviously, like once you've recognized that stress, find ways to get active, right? I think for a lot of people, like for me, like I go to the gym 5 days a week, and for me, going to the gym is a huge stress relief, and I like to do that because it's I'm in that routine. It's something I do in the morning, and it gives me the energy to get me through the day. And I think for a lot of people is that we're so we got to be more health conscious. Like if you're someone that's stressing out financially, like try to find a way to get active. Like if you're someone that doesn't go to the gym, then I wouldn't just say just jump in the gym right away, because obviously you got to develop that habit slowly. I mean, I would like if you just jump in the gym, but obviously for a lot of people, it's about developing that habit. So instead of just jumping right into the gym, how about just going for a walk, right? Taking a walk, 15 minutes a day. If you're someone that's at work, take, every during your lunch break, go for like a 15-minute walk. Get that sun in your face. Breathe some fresh air. It does a lot for you mentally in terms of just being active. Even if you're someone that's that doesn't have time to do that, then go to the gym. Like, it's something you can do. Go to the gym. Like, whatever you can do to get active, to get the body moving, to make you start feeling good about yourself. I think exercise does a lot for you mentally, and for a lot of people, you have to obviously take care of yourself, because when you're struggling financially, man, that could do so much to you, like mentally. Like, it makes you not want to do anything. It obviously causes depression. It causes all types of things where you're just stagnant. You don't want to do anything. You just stay where you are. And that's obviously the worst thing you can do. You want to make sure you're moving, getting active, be physical, getting exercise, seeking some type of support, and taking breaks and making sure that you're doing things to get your body moving and help relieve that stress. So make sure, like, you can get active. Like, right now, summertime, at this time of recording, go out there and get some sun, get some fresh air, and I think it'll do a lot, right? Once you've recognized that you've got that stress, then it's time to get active and start doing things to help, relieve that stress. Whatever it is, whether you like bike riding, whether you like walking, whether you like swimming, running, jogging, whatever you want to do, whatever it is that you like to do, start doing it, get active, and then and you'll find that it has a better effect on your mental health. The next thing is, after you've done that, like, it's important to assess your financial situation. I think for a lot of people, it can be overwhelming. Like, you don't know where to start. You got debt here, you got a financial situation over here, and it's hard to know where to start. So I think for a lot of people, when it comes to dealing with your financial stress, it's important to assess your financial situation. What I mean by that is, like, all right, you obviously have a lot of expense. What's struggling with you? What you're struggling with is not having money, right? At the end of the month, you have no money to pay bills, and it's just like you don't know where your money's going. And I think for a lot of people, that's the main problem. You have no idea where your money's going. So it's important to, like, to figure out what's going on with your money, like what money's coming in, what's going out, and you have a better picture of, like, what's going on with you financially. Once you have that idea of what's going on, then you can attack it. So, like, I think for a lot of people, it's just like, name all your expenses, what your debts are, your monthly expenses, like, write down everything, whether subscriptions, obviously, like, you got memberships, like, obviously you got credit card bills, mortgages, everything. List all of that, and I promise you, at the end of that list, when you add it up, you're gonna have a number, right? And that number is obviously what you're spending every month, right? I promise you, like, once you name all those expenses, like, at the end of that, you add it all up, you're gonna have a number which is your monthly expenses. That's the money that's going out. And then after you've done that, then obviously whatever whatever money that you're bringing in, whether it's your job or you have a side hustle, whatever it is, all the income that you're bringing in, you want to put that up top, right? And then after you've got the money that's coming in and the money that's going out, what you want to do is you want to subtract that money going out from what's coming in, and you're gonna have and obviously for a lot of people that's a negative number. You want to get to that point to where it's a positive number, but you need to have a picture of what's going on with yourself financially. And a lot of people avoid this because obviously creating a budget. A lot of people avoid this because it requires a lot of work. They don't want to. They want to avoid it. They're like, you know what, this is going to put the problem right in front of me. But you need to see what's going on financially. You need to know what's going on. You need to have an idea of, like, what you're spending money on. And then that's where you can start to fix it. But a lot of people avoid that, and that's where the trouble begins. So you have to make sure you assess your financial situation. You need to make sure, like, all right, where's my money going? How's it working? Why at the end of the month I don't have any money? Why am I living paycheck to paycheck? Clearly, because it's pretty simple. It's just simple math, right? You're spending more than you make, right? It's not that complicated. When you break it down, it's just you have this money coming in and then you have this money coming out. You got to figure out why at the end of the month you got no money, or you can't pay certain obligations and certain debts. It's pretty simple math, and a lot of people like complicate it because they just have so much going on. Not only do you have the financial stress, but you have other things that's going on that you got to take care of. So I think for a lot of people, it's just, if you can just put that picture, like put your financial situation, put all your expenses, then add up your income, and if you could put that right in front of you, then you have an idea what's happening to your money. Then I think that would help alleviate some of the stresses. Once you've done that, once you've assessed it and you figured out what's going on financially, then it's the next step is obviously you want to be proactive, right? You want to be proactive, and you want to make sure you start taking charge. You want to be active in like clearing, taking control of your financial situation. So the thing is, you want to make sure you want to do is like, all right, once you've assessed your financial situation, you want to start removing some of these things that you don't need, some of these expenses that you don't need, because obviously you're spending too much. So get rid of the subscriptions, get rid of the memberships you don't need. If you're someone that eats out a lot, then you gotta stop eating out. You gotta start cooking home meals. So you want to make sure you start taking steps in and reducing that expense, so where you get you're in the positive, right? You're spending less than you make, and then once you do that, you'll see yourself in a better situation financially. So it's you need to, and then you want to also start building up a savings account, right? Obviously, you want to do that, in terms of emergencies, because emergencies can be a huge thing, can be a huge issue in terms of like destroying people's finances. So you want to build that up, and then you want to make sure that you can take control over your finances by removing the things that you don't need, right? There's so much. If you looked at your expenses, there's so many things that things that you can remove, items that you remove that you just really don't need. And I think it's important to like really take control of that and make sure that you have an understanding and start creating goals financially where you can start taking control of your situation. So it's important to like take proactive steps. So once you've assessed your financial situation, then it's important to start taking steps in order to make sure you can put yourself in a better situation financially. Now the next thing is obviously like once you've done that, and let's say it's gotten to a point where it's hard for you to really like manage that, then you might want to start seeking financial help, like professional help, like talking to a personal finance coach or talking to a certified financial planner, anyone that can help you manage that, or maybe just read books. Like obviously you're on YouTube to learn more about finances, so this is a good start. Like a lot of people learn a lot from social media, and obviously you want to make sure you're listening to someone that you can trust, because there's a lot of people that's giving out wrong information. So you want to make sure you try to find ways in order to better understand, learn about your finances, and you want to improve your financial literacy, right? Reading books, watching videos, watching even if you're someone that doesn't like to read, go on Audible, like listen to audio. There's so many resources in which you can like help improve your financial literacy. So and you want to make sure that you have an idea of like how to get all of this managed, because it's like when it comes to like managing your finances, it's about organizing, right? Like we're so busy with so many things. It's just all about, if we can just organize everything that's going on in our life, we would handle the financial situation much better. And I think for a lot of people, it's just that they're all over the place. They haven't structured themselves well, and I think for a lot of people, if they just organize themselves, they would find themselves in a better situation. So, like if you can find someone that obviously can help you out, like say a personal finance coach, like someone that you can trust, that can help you manage your finance, or even someone that that's doing well financially, that have this stuff in order, talk to them. Like maybe you can talk to them and they can maybe offer some advice. And I think for a lot of people, they're so embarrassed about their financial situation that they don't want to go for advice or go for help. But if you're someone that you trust, that you feel comfortable sharing that information with, don't be afraid to talk to them, because they can also offer some advice and some tips. And make sure you put everything out in front, like expenses, income, everything that you have, and then you make sure that you bring everything to the table so you can have an idea and you can have it right in front of you, like what's going on with you financially. Because I think for a lot of people, they have no idea, because they don't put the like putting it on a spreadsheet. Make sure you put all your finances on a spreadsheet that you can see right in front of you, like what's going on. Like a good tool is like mint.com, right? I can put everything in mint.com and it gives me a picture of how I'm doing financially. That's a great place to start, and it's free. I'm not promoting it. I mean, obviously I'm not sponsored by this thing, but it's something that I use to just make sure I have a picture right in front of me, like what's going on with my finances. And I think for a lot of people, if they just have it right in front of them, they would be able, better equipped to deal with their finances. They wouldn't be as stressed. And then you just, like I said, like create a plan to attack this, right? You have the snowball method, especially if it comes to credit card debt or any type of debt. Like you obviously have the avalanche method, snowball method. You want to make sure that you're attacking high interest. You can attack high interest, or you can attack high debt, whichever way you want to go about it. Just make sure you create a plan of action and you actually do it. Don't avoid it. Don't act like it's not there, because eventually it will build up and it's gonna hit you right in the face, and it's gonna be something that you can't avoid. Like I said, I've been in that situation before. Twice I have had $30,000 of debt, and I've gotten to a point where I would just ignore it, or I wouldn't pay it, and it just puts you in a bad financial situation. It doesn't do well for your credit score, and it does slow you down when it comes to really building up your financial future. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave it down below. Hit the like button and share. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.